The Bison keep on winning. Dave Richman on NDSU's big win last night. Plus, South Dakota State star quarterback is coming back for another year. Hot Mike begins now.
Hot Mike with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. I was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mike.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mike. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to the It Happened Again edition of Hot Mike on WDAY Extra. KSFL TV, good morning, everybody in Sioux Falls. Big show for you today. KNBN in Western South Dakota and all parts in between at Inforum.com. Happy Tuesday, 16th of December is here, 2025. Ready to rock and roll on a 40-degree day? Question mark? With blizzard coming Thursday? Awesome. Let's go. Get out there and get your stuff done, because apparently we're not going to be able to drive anywhere on Thursday. It's according to what we got coming down the pipe here over the next couple days. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show. I am Dom Izzo, host of said program. Welcome to Hot Mike on a Tuesday, where we got plenty to get to today. Tuesdays in December always were significant when I was still anchoring. Like, all right, we got how much to get to tonight? Can we get 7-8 games worth of highlights in? That was typically, because we're now rolling. We got wrestling going. We got hockey. Big night of hoops. As long as the weather cooperates, we're going to try and get to as much as we possibly can. We got a game of the week coming up tonight. We'll preview that later on in our show as EDC play is now off and rolling. That means, yeah, here we go. And around here, at least for the first time that I can remember in a long, long time, basketball season is now here. We were talking about it on the show yesterday. Football season ended prematurely, I think, than anybody thought around here, but here's a news flash. The basketball teams that play here in this town, and I know McFeely and I were talking about this last week, are actually pretty darn good this season. If you haven't been paying attention, and to go into the old Bob Uecker line from Major League, and according to attendance, you haven't. Yeah, there's some teams that are playing some pretty good hoops, which we'll get to in just a minute here, including the Bison men, who won for the 10th time in their last 11 games last night as they wrapped up the home portion of their non-conference schedule with their next game at the Shack is a Summit League game. That means it's time. The Summit League season is right around the corner. We're going to get to that here in just a second. Lots to unpack today, including, you heard the opening tease. Our colleague John Gaskins yesterday interviewed South Dakota State starting quarterback Chase Mason, who made no equivocation that he is returning to the Jackrabbits in 2026. We'll get to the implications of that coming up in just a little bit, as well as there was some, I don't know, consternation might be too strong a word, about what potentially could happen for the starting quarterback for South Dakota State. We saw last week the guy that started against the Bison and against Indiana State, Luke Marble, announced he was going in the transfer portal, so he had been a one-and-done guy at South Dakota State. So that gave you the indication that likely Mason was going to be returning in 2026, knowing that there was likely going to be some suitors out there, just with his athleticism, knowing full well what his background was, and granted he played, 9 games this season, and what he did in those 9 was pretty darn good, that he's going to return. So we'll get to that coming up later on in the program as well, and we'll cover any news that comes down the pipe. This is a tenuous time, when we're sitting here wondering potentially if what other players could potentially go. UND's lost a couple more. South Dakota's punter went in the portal, Tyler Ebel, yesterday, who's, first off, is a huge man at 6'3", hit a good year for USD. So again, you're on pins and needles here, as we're still sitting, 3 weeks out before the portal even opens? So it's a tenuous time for everyone involved. Basketball coaches would say, welcome to the party, to the football, because they've been dealing with this for the better part of 5 to 6 years. David Richman's team, as we talked about in the offseason, underwent a makeover, changed over the roster. 9 new players came in, and it seems like this creation, this year's team, might be a better mesh than last year. Not to say last year, they won 20 games last season. It was fun to watch how they played, but it was just a different style than Richman was ever being accustomed to. This year's team reminds me of those good teams that won the Summit League Championship in 19, that won the Summit League Championship in 15, that can play defense and were sharing the basketball. Last night, they were at home against Division II team in Minnesota Crookston, who has one win to its credit, and the Bison did what they were supposed to do against a team from a non-Division I level. We'll show you the highlights from the game last night, in a game that NDSU actually trailed early on, and after that, the Bison took over from there as they made their shots early, led by some really good shot making, whether it be Andy Stefanowicz, whether it be Travion Carson, or this guy, Markai Strickland, who was off the bench last night. He did not start in the game because of accumulation of a couple technical fouls. We'll talk with Dave about that coming up in our second hour. He was 9 of 10 from the floor. If you're making shots like that, it's easier. Your field goal percentage is going to go sky high. Bison up 5. Damari Wheeler-Thomas, and how clutch he has been, being healthy, knocking down shots, opening up an 8-point lead. Andy Stefanowicz, who was off a career high, at 22 against Drake on 6 made threes, was just steady all over the floor last night. Here's the highlight play of the night. Wheeler-Thomas comes up with a steal, leaves it for Strickland. This is one of those old Grant Nelson kind of finishes. Just hammer back and throw it down. That got everybody out of their seats. Just over 1,100 were in attendance last night. It was actually a pretty decent crowd for a Monday night. Bison were rolling from there. Stefanowicz steps into a 3. The Bison made 9 of them last night. Andy was one of 4 Bison in double figures. He had 10. They get a little bit of everything last night for their shot making. Good feet here underneath the Carson Smith, who scores. Nearly everybody who played last night got into the scoring column as NDSU picks up a 10th win in its last 11 games. 101-67 the final. Led by the 19 from Strickland, 14 from Damari Wheeler-Thomas. Noah Feddersen, Stefanowicz got 10 points as well as the Bison pick up the win. Afterwards, you heard from the 2 main guys who were big contributors in the win last night.
Us being together, having fun. And I think, the biggest thing is just us playing together, competing every day at practice, and that's the biggest thing. I did think so, because every year I always thought we had a good group to begin with, but this year it just happens to, we have a different focus defensively, and I think that's the biggest thing.
I feel like after we went 0-2, we all met in my room. We all just got to talking because we were like, this isn't us. Like, we're not supposed to be 0-2. We're not supposed to lose 2 games like that. We're not supposed to start like this. So everybody just coming together, and then we were in the room just holding each other accountable, and then everybody just changed from then, and we kept going harder and harder in practice, and then the work showed in the game. It's good. He pushed me to be the best that I could be every time. That's just what it is. He just told me when I even talked to him on the phone when he was recruiting me, I'm going to push you to be the best that you could be, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard however many months I'm going to be here, and I expected that, and I expect it every day. So when you get on me, I never really take it personal.
So a good win last night. And you did what you had to do against a team that's from a lower division, and the Bison did that. So after the 0-2 start, right, they lost a game at Oregon State that, frankly, they make a couple shots there, they win. The game with UC Davis, almost the same deal there. You make a couple shots, and they couldn't hit anything. And then they come home, and that home opener with CSUN, first half, again, they couldn't make a shot. And halftime of that game, finally, something clicked, and they made some shots. I think they shot 60% in the second half, pulled away and won that game. And ever since, we have seen a different group out there. They played St. Scholastica, they played Jamestown in another Crookston game. So let's take those 3 out of the equation, right? They beat Cal State Northridge, good win. They beat Southern Illinois, a really good win. You look at the latest net where the Salukis are, that's a really good victory there. They go and beat Jacksonville State down in Alabama. Held them to 50 points. Arkansas State on their floor, they get pushed, had a chance to win that game at the end of regulation. They end up losing by 5 in overtime. They learned something out of that, right? Then they come back. They beat Montana on the road. Really good win. They squeak out a game against Northern Arizona, but found a way to win that game. And then last weekend, win it, double figures at Cal State Bakersfield, and then win at Drake the way they did. I'm telling you now, you may be like, well, football. It's time to start. Once we get to the first of the year and basketball season then really takes over, Bison men got something going right now. And they open up with 2 home games to start conference play with South Dakota and Oral Roberts. That is going to be an intriguing way to start the year in conference play to find out where they're at. You wake up this morning, they're 130 in the net rankings. Time to start paying attention to what's going on the north side. More on the Bison men. Dave Richman will join us his usual Tuesday time slot coming up at 10 o'clock. They are heading out on the road to their final non-conference games to El Paso, Texas on Sunday and Monday. They'll have a game with UC Irvine Sunday night, and then depending how that game goes, either Norfolk State or UTEP in the Sun Bowl Invitational will be a week from yesterday for their final non-conference games. They'll get a few days off, and then it's off and rolling into Summit League play after that. Also, last night, we officially put a bow on Week 15 of the NFL season. The only way I can best describe this, I was driving home from the shack, listening to Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner call the game on Westwood One, is that there was a football game last night. Evidently, there was nothing noteworthy that went down in the Steelers-Dolphins game because it was... Is boring too strong a word for how this game played out? It was 3-0 late in the first half where finally the Steelers get it in. Connor Hayward gets in for the touchdown. It's a 7-3 Steelers lead. Pick it up now late in the early third quarter. Marquez Valdes-Scantling scores. He and Aaron Rodgers done that before. Steelers up 14-3. Rodgers hits Pat Freiermuth, the big tight end. By the way, that's the best uniform combination. I know everybody was waiting for that. The all-black look from Pittsburgh is pretty darn good. This Rodgers guy, get the Jets find quarterbacks like him. DK Metcalf throwing off a couple of guys. Mika Fitzpatrick got thrown to the next zip code when he did that to him. Gets in. It's a 21-3 Pittsburgh lead. Miami didn't really start trying, it seemed like, to the fourth quarter. They started calling time. It was weird. Here, a little slant to Freiermuth, who gets loose into the Dolphins secondary. Big-time play there. Then add up Jonnu Smith. What? Isn't he a tight end? Takes the pitch, gets in for the touchdown. First game in NFL history with 2 tight ends scoring a rushing touchdown. That's the most notable thing out of the game last night. Steelers win it 28-15. Miami, with the loss, is officially eliminated from playoff contention as they fall to 6-8. The updated AFC playoff standings, because the Steelers lead the AFC North now at 8-6. It's going to come down here to the last couple games of the season. Might come down to the last game of the season. If I'm NBC, we're already thinking about what we're going to do for the final game of the regular season, because typically, like last year, it was Lions-Vikings. Steelers play the Ravens in the final game of the year. And right now, whoever wins out is going to win the division. Pittsburgh plays the Lions this upcoming week. You can see that Pittsburgh-Baltimore game being the final game of the regular season. Colts are just a game back of Houston. Remember, they still have to play. And Miami, now we can officially put a line through them. They are out at 6-8 after being eliminated last night. We got a packed show coming up for you here today on our Tuesday guest lineup, which is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Coming up at 9:35, Mike McFeely will be here in studio. I left that segment open. Well, whatever he wants to discuss, let's roll with it. We'll do that coming up at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, North Dakota State men's basketball coach Dave Richman will join us. Buys it off a win, as we showed you last night. Getting ready for an upcoming road trip. We'll discuss his team and where they're at right now, sitting at 10-3. Best start for the Bison men since 2012-13. I know he'll be anxious to talk about that. That's coming up at 10 o'clock. At 10:35, welcome Kyle Cummings back to our program. The Horace boys head basketball coach. The Hawks have a lot of expectations. Carter Evanson on their roster, who is signed to play at the University of North Dakota off a bitter end of last year where they lost in a state qualifier game to go to state. They have not made it yet They have high expectations in 2026 for the Hawks. We'll visit with him coming up at 10:35. He was at the game last night watching former player his and Zach Westfall plays for Crookston. We'll chat about that coming up at 10:35. That and a heck of a lot more here on a busy Tuesday. We're just getting started. When we come back, the decision by Chase Mason to return to Brookings. That and much more on a Tuesday morning edition of Hot Mic on WDAY Extra right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Don't forget high school basketball game of the week coming up tonight. We've got Cheyenne and Horace. Join us for live coverage on WDAY Extra. Begins at 7 o'clock tonight. I think the game's at 7:30. Better double check on that. On WDAY Extra, Hawks and the Mustangs as we get the EDC basketball season going. Much more on that coming up later on in our show this morning. All right, so couple things here because we chatted about it yesterday on the game, and we're going to have the Big Sky Commissioner Tom Wistersill will join us on Thursday morning, 10 a.m. So looking forward to that to chat about Cat Grizz Round 2 and biggest sporting event history of the state of Montana. Well, already we chatted a little bit on the show that ticket prices are just going nuts. Yesterday during the basketball game, my Twitter feed started going off because of the story out of Bozeman that Montana State officially put out a statement on tickets. This is how it reads because of what's going on for the game on Saturday. Due to incredible demand from season ticket holders, we are canceling the exclusive Bobcat pre-sale and the general public on sale. At this time, the Bobcat ticket office is working through the request list, and we anticipate to be sold out of tickets based upon requests. If you're a season ticket holder who submitted an additional ticket request, you'll be notified no later than Tuesday at noon on the status of your request, whether it was fulfilled or unfulfilled. If you're interested in purchasing tickets to the 2025 FCS semifinal game versus Montana, the only verified resale platform is SeatGeek. Thank you for your continued support of Bobcat football. We look forward to seeing you at the stadium filled with blue and gold. Go Cats. So if you go to SeatGeek.com on this Tuesday morning and say, all right, well, I'd like to go to the football game to see what's going on in the particular Montana State game. Right now, we're talking $700, $800 for one ticket to get to the game. Emails come in on this. Dom, having attended the Cat USD playoff game last year, I was excited at the opportunity to attend this game, but I understand them canceling the ticket sales beyond the students' season ticket holder stage. With SeatGeek prices up around $2,500, a season ticket holder is less likely to sell to Grizz fans than John Q. Public would be. And I don't know if they're trying to scheme that, hey, we don't want, if you can request 5 or 6 tickets and then hoard them and make sure that no Montana fans get in. We've been down this road before with other events. I have to imagine Montana State was prepared for what was to come on this, knowing, okay, demand is going to be incredibly high, considering it's not South Dakota, it's not Villanova, it's not even North Dakota State, which I think would have done pretty well. No, it's Montana. I mean, this is outrageous for some that we're talking about. Now, again, it's Tuesday. And let's come back on Friday, the day before the game, and see where we're at. But right now, the demand on this is just astronomical. So it's not surprising. Like I mentioned yesterday, biggest sporting event in the history of the state of Montana, potentially. Good friend Greg Rockach sent me, he tweeted this out yesterday on, I didn't even know this happened in the state of Montana, which is fantastic, about sporting a boxing match that took place in the early part of the 20th century. Who knew this? Jack Dempsey, Tommy Gibbons fought in Shelby, Montana, July 4th, 1923. Heavyweight championship of the world. In Shelby, Montana, between Jack Dempsey, who was one of the all-time great boxers in the first half of the 20th century. Think of now. If that's in the conversation, then Cat Grizz playoff game has got to be near the top. That's pretty cool stuff. More on that coming up later on in the week. Yesterday, in case you missed it, on Happy Hour with John Gaskins, he interviewed South Dakota State quarterback Chase Mason. Mason confirmed to him that he's going to be returning to South Dakota State for the 2026 season after, obviously, an injury-filled season that caused him to miss 5 games as the Jacks lost 4 of those 5. They won their finale against University of North Dakota to get into the playoffs, and then we saw Chase come back and play in the 2 playoff games against New Hampshire and Montana. Said every single guy that has transferred from an FBS school from South Dakota State has said how much better it is there than anywhere else. Also said never in a million years did he consider leaving, knowing the amount of money and NIL offers that were coming. And he and Quentin Christensen were a huge part of keeping the Jackrabbit roster together after Jimmy Rogers left to take the Washington State job, and he recruited to keep some of the big-time guys there himself, Christensen, Logan Ogroski. You can name a couple of the other big-timers that Kobe Claiborne that returned for SDSU in 2025. Now, obviously, physical traits aside, and you look at him, I mean, he obviously looks the part, and clearly for the first 6.5-ish games of 2025, he was awfully darn good. The Montana State game you saw there, that was game 2 of the season, how impressive he was there for SDSU. Question I have now is, what are the pieces going to be around him for this upcoming year? And obviously Jackson has been busy adding a couple of defensive players through the portal, namely from the Division II ranks, one from MSU Moorhead, another from Wayne State. That seems like where they need to address it more importantly than anything. I think defense, certainly depth there was tested, and the Jacks were just not as good as we have seen over the last, the 22 season, 23, 24 season, whether it be the graduation of our transfer portal departures. They just didn't have that depth that they had come to know, specifically over those 3 seasons where they won the championship in 2 of them, made the semifinals in another. That, to me, is the intriguing part about this, because South Dakota State from 2012 to 2018 had dynamite offensive players, just great players, whether it be a Zach Zenner, whether it be Dallas Goddard, Jake Winicky, Tucker Kraft. They had fantastic offensive weapons. Taryn Christian in that mix as well. It was defensively, and I know Christian Roseboom was in that mix, but defensively is where the Jacks were let down. You think of the semifinal loss at James Madison, the semifinal loss against North Dakota State in 2018. They were just depleted there. That's where, in the early 2020s, the Jacks took the next step, that they had that defensive line depth, they had defensive depth to get to the next level of then beating the Bison and then winning back-to-back titles. And obviously that was took a step back this year. So that, to me, I look at this, okay, that's a big deal. Obviously your starting quarterback back, because you look at the Valley, and this is way too early because we don't know anybody's rosters yet. We can't even start thinking about roster management till January 12th. Portal closes on the 11th, so that's probably the earliest part of that. But that's a big feather in the cap for SDSU to be able to work with that. Because you think about it, North Dakota State's going to have a new starting quarterback, right? Illinois State's going to have a new starting quarterback. Youngstown State has their starter back. Bo Brungard has said he's coming back. Youngstown, USD's going to have a new starting quarterback. Bauman's gone. UND will have Jerry Kaminsky back. So UND, SDSU, they have theirs, and Youngstown will have their starters back. SIU, DJ Williams will be back, theoretically. Again, those are the guys that we know at least at the top half of the league. Bison have a new guy coming in, and USD will have a new guy coming in for next season. And that's maybe the easy way to look at it for the upcoming football year, but that's the where you start at it. To put a finer point on Mason before we wrap up this segment, I would say he's got incredible physical gifts, no doubt. What does he have to protect him? Because I still think there were parts, SDSU was just not firing on all cylinders. Those games that they won even before he got hurt against Murray State, you'd look at it like, all right, the Jacks scuffled around with Drake. They won that game, right? You think in Youngstown State, they got behind by a couple touchdowns at halftime, right? And then the floodgates opened. They ran the football and ended up winning by 5 against the Penguins on the road in that game, right? It just wasn't the high-flying offense that we had come used to. Again, seeing Mark Gronowski lead it. I'm intrigued to see with another year with him leading it where the Jacks go from there. Obviously, in the tragic passing of Nate White, you can't overestimate what that did to what they wanted to do offensively. I thought Julius Loffridge was a good player, but he got worn down. I mean, he just was not the same player in game 2 than what he was in even when the Bison saw him in game 7 or 8 of the regular season. So that's a big piece, though, to have back. Intrigued to see what they do around him and what other pieces they attempt to add or will add over the next little bit. But that's the big news there out of Brookings, is that their starting quarterback will be back for the 2026 season, which includes an FBS game. The Jackrabbits will play Northwestern early on next football season. That's, you know what? In the pining of games for FBS level, Northwestern has been near the top of my list for Bison football. Like, man, go to a trip to Chicago. Bison love the state of Illinois, the Chicago area to recruit. That would be awfully fun. And obviously the connections there. David Braun is the head football coach. Zach Lujan, who's a former Jackrabbit quarterback, is the offensive coordinator. Ryan Olson, who is the former Jack OC and O-line coach, now is the O-line coach at Northwestern. There's some strong ties for that FBS game next year for South Dakota State. All right, we're due for a break. We come back. Our guy Mike McFeely will join us in studio. Wide open next half hour. Wherever the road takes us, we will go down there. Back on a Tuesday morning show right after this.
Oh, it's Mr. McFeely.
I have seen the future, and he was wearing number 5, and I ain't talking about Robbie Grimsley, folks.
Took out the muffins, took out the trail mix, took out the cookies. They stole the monster cookies.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Let's do some broadcasting.
Yeah. We'll do some broadcasting with our guy Mike McFeely. Joins us each and every, at 9:35. I was overcome with emotion there. I have a blank slate for your segment. Normally I map it out a little bit. I'm like, you know what? Wherever the road wants to take Mike today, we'll go down that one.
Let's start here.
Okay.
So I have 2 dogs.
Yes.
One of them has some, how can I phrase this? He is highly energetic. So in the mornings, he likes to jump
high motor?
His motor never stops. So in the mornings, he likes to jump on the bed to let me know that it's time to get up.
Time to go.
Some days it's at 4:30. Some days it's at 6 o'clock. This morning, he jumped up on the bed, and my head was too close to the spot that he jumped.
Oh, no.
And I don't want to get too close because nobody wants to see my ear hairs.
Oh, man.
You
got an injury here, man.
Yeah. And I've got scars all over my body from this guy. So that's how my day started at 5:30 this morning. And
well, it can only go up from here.
My wife learned new words, and Archie learned new words, and Bodie, our other dog, learned the neighborhood, I think. The 6-year-old daughter or girl next door learned new words. I was yelling so loud at that wake-up call. So let's start there.
Okay.
Whatever you have for me, throw it at me.
All right.
And I'll just go off.
So, go off is a good one on the first topic because we have our first bowl real game is tonight. I believe, what's the Armed Forces Bowl is going on tonight.
The LA Bowl the other night.
LA Bowl on Saturday night.
Boise State.
Yeah. Boise State's best player didn't play in that, apparently getting ready for the draft.
Yes.
Which the Boise team didn't want to address that afterwards. But we
only talk about players who are here now.
Right. The ongoing theme I keep hearing is this is going to be the end of the bowls because Notre Dame opted out. My contention on that is the television guy that I am. People still watch in droves, Mike. So until people stop watching, the bowls aren't going to go away.
Well, and ESPN owns a bunch of the bowls as well. And so until the bowls stop being profitable for somebody, they're going to continue to be bowls. Yep. I'm not buying that. I've read that too. That with players opting out and
you heard that like 10 years ago, and they're still here.
Right.
Now Notre Dame opted out. Like this is the end all be all here.
It's because it's Notre Dame.
Right.
I mean, whatever. It just
Yeah.
Join a conference. It's not 1953
Correct.
anymore. It's joint
Exactly.
conference.
Yes.
I don't buy that.
Yeah.
And you can think what you want of them, as you and I have talked about before. And clearly there are those in the Dakotas, we'll say, that don't think much of the bowl games and thinks that the 56-3 FCS playoff games are way more interesting than watching the LA Bowl.
But ratings would tell you otherwise on that.
Right. And if you look at the ratings and you look at, again, the money.
Yipper.
If you're making money, and these sports networks, this is the other, again, you know this more than I do. I know it because I'm in the business of media. But all of these sports networks, they need inventory.
Need programming.
They need programming.
Yipper.
And so all of these bowls provide inventory for ESPN or CBS or NBC
it's 3
or
hours,
ABC.
Man. Yeah.
And every one of them that I watch has a lot of commercials in them. And that means that there are sponsors who look at the ratings numbers and go, wow, there were 4 million people who watched the Crapola Bowl in San Antonio. You know what? I don't even know who played in the Crapola Bowl, but it doesn't matter because there were 4 million eyeballs
money.
or 1.3 million eyeballs. That's what it's all about.
Correctamundo.
And by the way, the schools get money from the bowls as well.
So Mo State, our friends, are playing their first bowl game on Thursday in Frisco, Texas, of all places. Yeah. It's the Xbox Bowl. The players all got Xboxes. That's a thing, too. I understand your season, you're not playing for a championship, but there's some perks of this as well, and you're going to play in some pretty good locales as well.
But do you think, has there been anybody, and Missouri State's in a different spot than other schools that we've been talking about possibly moving to FBS because they just weren't doing much in FBS, although they were getting better the last couple of years and they were a playoff team. But is there anybody in Springfield, Missouri or anywhere else that's going, boy, that was a bad move?
Oh, no way. Yeah.
I mean, no.
Not at all. No way.
Have you heard from anybody
not in Harrisonburg, Virginia
saying,
no way.
Boy, I sure wish we would have stayed in FCS so we could go play NDSU in Frisco in a soccer stadium, which is great. But,
no, by the way, because James Madison's playing in Autzen Stadium this weekend against the University of Oregon.
Right.
I mean, come on.
5-6 years after Georgia Southern went FBS, I talked to one of their radio guys, Terry Harvin, and I said, so he's like, there's no looking back.
No.
I mean, you look at the money we've raised, you look at the games we've played.
Who you've played.
He said there's been no drop-off in interest. It's fine. I mean, they've struggled the last few years, but generally they've been okay.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in Conway, South Carolina going, oh, man, sure wish we were in the Big South?
Yep.
No. It's just the progression of life.
Yep. I got an email here to ask on, December 16th. The Bison season's been over for 10 days. We've had one player decide to leave. Is that a good sign? Can Bison football fans exhale a little bit?
No, I heard you and Kolpak talked about this yesterday, but no. I mean, the portal, there are things happening right now. You know, Toby Anini is not being tampered with. Is that the right word? Tampered with.
Okay.
Now, because we're not hearing anything about it. The stuff going on behind the scenes, I don't know that for sure, by the way, but
we can put two and two together,
I'm
right?
a reasonably smart guy.
How would that conversation go?
What?
With Toby and Nene?
How would it go?
Yeah, how would it go?
We'd like to offer you $1 million to play defensive end for us
at School X.
At School X in the Big 10.
Oh.
Or Big 12. What do you think?
That's as simple as that. Yep. That's what we got going on right now.
But we know.
I know.
I mean, look, there have been schools that have complained about bigger schools tampering with their guys. And we all know it happens, okay? It happens everywhere. So nobody's innocent in this. But I saw a guy that went from a Division II school, was in the portal one day, and was committed to a program the next day in FCS.
Yep.
So I'm just going to throw this out there that there are schools in FCS that
probably doing the same thing.
And even ones that have been complaining publicly about other programs tampering with their players apparently are in the portal one day, committed
The next day?
The next day.
Huh. How's that work? That's interesting.
And I was told actually that his name was in the portal, and like several hours later, in the portal it said he was headed to this place.
Do not contact. Like I had a decision
and then
already
the next
made.
day it was made public
on where he's going. Yeah.
So I'm sure that just happened
organically.
Jimmy Shimtree went in the portal. FCS school went, oh my God, Jimmy Shimtree's in the portal.
Get him.
Call him. Hey, Jimmy.
Want to come?
Okay, sure. I'm not going to visit anywhere. I'm not going to take any visits.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take any offers from anybody else. I'm just going to commit to you right now. But I've never even heard of you or heard from you before this moment
Never
right
been
now.
there. No, nothing. No cut. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Good one.
I did have an email saved to ask you, Colbag and I talked about briefly yesterday, was the Tyler Roll decision to leave the Lions and likely going to be Jimmy Rogers' offensive coordinator at Iowa State. What do you make of that move?
I haven't talked to Tyler about it specifically. Was told that he is going to get a nice paycheck to go to Iowa State. And that would be one reason, I would guess. I mean, if you're making $500 one place and $1 million the next, that's a pretty easy decision. But you don't know the other parts of the story. You'd have to talk to Tyler and get the story from him, and some of it might be public and some of it might stay private. Yeah. But maybe he just likes college football more than he likes the NFL. I don't know. I know none of this, but maybe his family decided, you know what, just not crazy about living in Detroit or the suburbs. Let's go back to a small college town, and that's more our jam than this NFL stuff. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he wants to be a college head coach.
Well, I was thinking, I mentioned that on the show last week.
All these are possibilities. Maybe he wants to be a college head coach, and the way to get there is to not be the tight ends coach for
the Lions.
Dan Campbell in Detroit. It's to be the offensive coordinator at a Big 12 school.
Yeah. And making that kind of money, it certainly doesn't hurt either.
$1 million
right?
in Ames, Iowa is pretty good. If that's what the number is, that's what
we heard as well.
Know.
All right,
but if that's the case, easy decision.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. That Iowa State, what happens there, what Rogers does, that to me is like where you look at potential for guys out there. Would you not? Because he knows the Bison program, knows South Dakota State program.
No, I don't see that happening.
No,
I don't. Whatever. We'll see. I mean, you never say never, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Just the familiarity, I guess, is what you always kind of.
But he also has familiarity with South Dakota State, South Dakota, UND. He knows the league, and now he knows a little bit the new Pac-12,
correct,
and the Mountain West, and so these guys get around. That's all part of it. I mean, that was the attractiveness of Tim Polasek coming to Fargo, was that he had been some other places.
Last email from we're going to talk some hoops when we come back. Mike, who's your favorites to make it to Nashville out of this weekend?
Oh, I think you still have to go with the home team in Montana State. I don't. Montana has been rolling offensively, but defensively, I don't know how good they are, and I don't know how good the teams they've played are. I mean,
South Dakota State and South Dakota were obviously not what they were. We knew that. We saw that.
South Dakota gave up 50 up here. I think they gave up 50 to Iowa State. So South Dakota gave up 50 points 3 times this year. So how good was their defense against good teams?
Good teams. Yep. Right. South Dakota State gave up 50 to the
I'll take
the
Montana State and Illinois State.
Okay.
I watched actually quite a bit of the Tarleton-Villanova game. Wow. I hope that the coaches in North Fargo weren't watching any of the games this weekend.
Yeah.
Because
crazy.
The march to Nashville, if you just find a way to win that game against Illinois State and avoid the biggest upset in FCS playoff history, you are walking to Nashville with your suitcase in your hand without breaking a sweat.
Yikes.
I mean, Tarleton was the 4th seed.
Yep.
And where did that come from?
I don't know.
I'm watching that game going, wow. They're getting physically punished by Villanova. Villanova rushed for like 300 yards.
And we didn't think much of Villanova of all season long, right?
Yeah. But they were way more physical than Tarleton.
Yep. That's the deal. All right. Let's break. We come back. We're going to chat some basketball with Mike after the Bison pick up a 10th win in 11 games and get ready for Summit League play. We'll chat about that on the other side of the break. Back on a Tuesday morning edition of Hot Mike on WDAY Extra right after this. All right, wrapping up our first hour. Michael, the basketball teams on the north side of Fargo might be pretty good this year.
They might be, but it's December, and so all of this doesn't matter.
Well, I'm looking at the net rankings, your favorite website. Top Summit League team is St. Thomas on the men's side at 116.
Yep.
North Dakota State comes in at 130. They're the next highest. After that, you got to scroll for a bit to get to South Dakota State at 163.
Yeah, South Dakota State got rolled last night by Wyoming. Wyoming's good.
Yep.
I think I actually looked it up last night at bowling. I think Wyoming was like 60th in the net rankings, and the Mountain West is good basketball, by the way.
Steeman and I were talking about that last night.
Which would be another reason if they could somehow get there with all their sports, which is like way too expensive. But if they
Wyoming's 52 this morning in the net.
Yep, and
That's
so they went
pretty
up a little bit.
Yep.
So that's not a shameful loss for South Dakota State at all. But they did get handled pretty easily. Now Bison are in good shape. It all comes down to
I know.
March.
But you got to position yourself. That's the thing.
Do ya?
I think so. It depends. Matchup-wise in Sioux Falls, I think it does.
I think history would show, and that's
getting that extra day off is big.
The commissioner and I got into a discussion in Sioux Falls during the Valley Media Days football. Because I had heard some rumors plus that Minneapolis had shown interest in the Summit League tournament, and Des Moines, Kansas City had shown interest in the Summit League tournament. And I was talking to the commissioner going, he wouldn't tell me, wouldn't confirm any of that because apparently it's nuclear secrets or something. You'd hate to have publicity for your league.
Right.
You'd hate to have people buzzing about your league.
Talking about it, yes.
No, yes.
Yeah.
Instead, you'd rather put a game on CBS Sports Network where 13 people are watching it. But be that as it may. And I said, but, I mean, I go, I know this doesn't matter, but it is a Jackrabbits home game. They're just, and he said, he goes, I've heard that for years from the coaches. And he goes, we presented them with data that shows that it's about the seed, not the location.
Wow.
And I did not.
Okay.
I just went, okay.
Yeah.
I go, whatever.
I say that to Paul Mills when he was leaving, when he was getting out the door to Will Roberts.
Correct. But I've not looked. I should take time to actually look it up now that I have some time. To do that and see if that. I'm not doubting what Fenton said, but it's about how good you are.
Yep.
I mean, Omaha last year was the best team
Really
in the
good.
league throughout the year, and they were the best team in the league at the tournament. And so that matters.
I think Dave's team, though, has got a little mix of everything, where last year, I don't know, would you say they were a one-trick pony last year of what they did?
You know,
how they played?
The last couple of years, the difference that I saw with Dave's teams, last year was such a weirdo because they, like, you just never saw a Dave Richman team fire up threes like they were a year ago.
And not be able to stop anybody.
And the last couple of years, defensively, they were not good.
No.
He has changed. Here's a story for you. To my naked eye, and Steeman could help you more out with this because he's a coach and I'm just a guy. But they're playing defense differently. It used to be NDSU would just sort of form a cup and they'd try to force you into a tough two-pointer. And now they're more aggressive defensively. They're trying to tip their hand. How many tipped passes this year?
All the time.
And they're forcing turnovers, which they never force turnovers. They're always a terrible team statistically in forcing turnovers because that's not how Dave coached. It was like, we're just going to,
back it in
and protect the rim and not give them layups and then go from there.
Yep.
This year, they're way more aggressive defensively, and they're good enough offensively that they're obviously able to score. The thing the other day at Drake was weird. 19 threes. That's not going to happen ever. And that's.
But how they beat Bakersfield, I mean, they played defensively there and made some plays. That's a good win.
They're consistently playing way better defense than they have the last couple of years. With the Drake game aside, that just turned out to be a shootout. But for the most part, they're playing great defense, and then they're scoring. There's still going to be times, as I'm getting snarky texts during Bison basketball games about, they can't score. It's like there's still going to be days where they struggle to score. I just believe that. I think they depend still too much on the three, but that's me. I've talked to the head coach about that, and there's statistically the best shot you can take is a layup or a dunk. The second best shot you can take analytically is a three-pointer. The worst shot you can take is a mid-range jumper. And so that
just grinds your gears, doesn't it? You love the mid-range jumper.
As a midi guy myself back in the day, that's where I lived. because I sure as hell wasn't going in the lane.
And nobody
and there was no three-point line when I played.
And there's nobody that shoots a mid-range jumper anymore. Just flat out does not happen.
The elbow jumper
is done. It's extinct.
I could be a billionaire right now if I would have been 7 inches taller and had athletic ability, because I could knock down the elbow jumper as a little guard.
Just feed you.
Oh, give me the ball. I was chewing the YMCA up alive in my day.
I know you mentioned we got to roll here, but it comes down to the 3 games in March. But again, my point, you got to position. I think the Bison have a chance
you have
to do
be
that.
a good team, and they're a good team.
I think the top.
Right?
I mean, it's them. I think St. Thomas is certainly a good team. I think the Towers team is going to be pretty good.
They probably have the best individual player in the league.
Yeah,
and,
Minnesali.
Yeah, Minnesali's really good.
He's one of the few returners in the Summit League in 2026. And we don't know yet on the Jackrabbits. I think they're okay. I don't know how good they are.
I know that they're not going to want to hear this in South Dakota because they don't want to hear anything that the Fargo media says in South Dakota. But I think the team that's going to end up being hurt worst by the portal situation in basketball is South Dakota State. Because they had it roll. They had some really good coaches, obviously, and it's a quote-unquote basketball school and a basketball state. And they were just always really good.
And they always had great players, just great players.
And they always had that, like a bigger post player that they could.
Oh, Dom comes right to them.
The big kid last year, Oscar
Douglas Wilson.
Clough.
Yeah, Clough. Doug
Wilson. I don't know if they have that this year. And it's kind of their basketball team, they do have some holdovers every year, but the last couple of years, it's really been sort of a revolving door.
And Hendo took a couple of good players with him.
And I don't,
Drake.
It just, their thing in men's basketball was just, as it was at North Dakota State, is that you get the players, you develop them.
Yep.
But they were just more maybe consistent and got some better players than Dave did. But Dave was on a roll there too.
Yeah.
And I think South Dakota State, the last couple of years, they've just not been what they have been. Even last year, they got routed by, I think, UND in the first round of the Summit League tournament.
Eagle staff went up for 50 points and beat them in Sioux Falls.
And so I don't know that they have the big guy this year that they need. They have some good players, and it all depends where you are in March. But I don't know that they've found their footing quite yet in men's basketball.
Your guy Shireman as well. I know he's not a big guy, but they had him who was the best player too.
His best play.
Oh, here we go. I knew you're going to do
his
it.
Best play.
He plays for the Celtics. I can't believe you're going to do this.
Okay. All right. Let's pretend this is Sam Griesel. This is Sam Griesel.
Yes. Summit League championship game.
Summit League championship game. I'm sitting right there. Like the play is happening 15 feet away from me. This is Sam Griesel. The clock is running down.
Gosh, so like two or
he
2
is
seconds.
21 feet from the basket. He's left-handed. He's dribbling. He needs space. There's nothing to do. He just knocks over Sam Griesel with his offhand
and
makes the shot.
No foul called.
And if there were TV replays, you would watch my jaw just go, oh, okay. I guess doing this.
Not a foul.
I guess it's not a foul.
Don't open this soda again.
Just shoving Sam Griesel 6 feet. And Sam Griesel's 6.
He's a big dude. He's 6'5".
6'5",
right?
6'2",
he's
something.
A big dude too.
And he got shoved aside like he was a used Kleenex, for God's sakes.
We'll ask Dave about that. We start our second hour. I'm sure he loves talking about that. Good to see you, man. And we'll talk next week, okay?
You betcha.
Mike McFeely joining us each and every Tuesday at 9:30. We come back. The men's basketball head coach at North Dakota State will join us fresh off a big win last night. David Richman joins us as we start hour number 2 right after this.
This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
I think just like Dom's outfit, they're not always pretty. Sometimes they're really ugly. But
Just been all over Amazon and just about every site looking for these mustard pants.
My wife will tell you, she wants to burn mine. People actually listen to your show.
They watch.
They watch it.
Yeah.
play defense in that first half like Dom transitions to you after the game. It's way too long, way too lazy. But
You got all these answers. I'm going to bring you over and have you do our non-conference schedule.
I'd love to. I'd love to go to Grand Canyon,
I would
man.
love.
Hey,
well, you can come with. That's not the thing.
I love when you're on Dom. You're so transparent. And I'm like, so 2 things are happening. That one, people are watching your show, listening.
Yes.
Right? That caught me a little off guard. I'm just being honest.
We know people are watching now as the men's basketball head coach joins us fresh off a game last night. Dave Richman joins us each and every Tuesday. His appearances are brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Bison win their 10th game of their last 11 last night. Before this, though, Dave was we were chatting. This is maybe his favorite thing he could ever say to me. He wanted to mute me for about a minute. Is that because I'm sure how long you've been trying to do that for about 15 years, right? I would think.
Well, it's only half right. The mute part is right, but the minute I'd like to do it a lot longer.
Well, then who
we
are you
need to
talking
get a couple
then?
things straight here. Like, I know the ratings go way up, so I know your sponsorship. People want to. This part is brought to you by.
Yes,
Like,
you know that.
I don't want to be Northwestern Mutual.
Yeah.
And I don't want that tied to, like anything Derek Dinger and the Dinger. Like, no.
Hey.
Like, there's got to be all kinds of people wanting to get in line to sponsor this segment.
You know what? He came first, though. So he told me I got to be part of this with Dave. I see it all the time. I want to be part. So I'm telling
That's
you.
because he's excited about the eat part right here. And I want you to know, like, we don't have it. Like, I don't want to take you around our house, but we have, like, in our bathroom it says poop. And different areas it just says different things, right? And so, but this is just where we're at today.
Oh man, oh man. Congrats on the win last night. 3 games in 5 days is kind of an NBA type schedule. Describe getting through this and winning all 3 of them.
Is that you trying to get me back on track there, right here, like so I don't completely filibuster your show?
People want to hear you. Come on.
Hey, like, listen. Anytime you're winning a game like we did last night, like, it was great, and I thought it was really beneficial for us for. Emil, Max Marley, getting some guys, Riley Massey, some extended minutes in some different spots. And so we were able to take care of business, and it really pleased with the way we finished the first half. And a lot of things were always taken from every contest. But for me, that game was, like, to your point, a culmination of 3 games in 5 days. And I got a lot of texts after our win Saturday afternoon in Drake. And, my response was, proud of our group. And with mid-major basketball, when you understand the logistical things that go into it, the mercy of being commercial travel and just some things like that, like we're not a program built on excuses, Dom. I'm not looking for sympathy or pity. Neither are our guys. We're about controlling the things we can. But you leave Wednesday morning, you fly out to California. You play a hard-fought game against a team, Bakersfield, that just never quit. They make it ugly. They make it annoying. And you turn around and you have a 3:50 wake-up call on Friday, and you fly Bakersfield down to Dallas, right? And you sit for an extra 3 hours in Dallas, and then you fly, and instead of going to the hotel, you go right to the gym. And your sandwiches are supposed to be at the hotel, but they get delivered to the gym.
Oh, jeez.
You get a little workout in, and then you go back, and it just like, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's Saturday afternoon. And I, obviously now I'm glad it was a Saturday afternoon game, but part of me, as fast as it was coming Saturday morning, I'm like, man, I wish we were playing Saturday night. And then you turn around and you get home Saturday and Sunday's light. And then so it just, Henry Schmidt, one of our managers, Cameron Greer, who's an assistant but handles a lot of our logistics, James Buchanan, analytically, who does a lot of things video-wise for us. Just a million. Worley was with us from a video standpoint. Daniel Johnson, our trainer, like I cannot tell you how much they mean to me in our program. So then our guys can go out there and do what they did, over those 3 games. And we had a guy come in and talk about, character sets your culture, and culture is the most important thing. I'm really proud of our culture right now, Don.
You seem like you were more, emotional is not the right word, excited about that win Saturday at Drake. Did you describe that? Was that what you just said? Was that the reason why you had a little more emotion in the post-game Saturday?
Yeah, like I brought the group together on Sunday. And I said it, like, I'm not an overly emotional person. And, it's not like I'm sitting there with tears, but, like, there was emotion behind what I just told you that I told to the group. I closed the door. I only had the people that traveled with us because I want them to hear, like, as the leader of this thing, as the head coach of the NDSU men's basketball, I want them to hear the impact that they're having, everybody. I'm pounding the table. And I want an opportunity, here on this show, too, for people to hear some different names besides Dave Richman or Travion Carson or Damari Wheeler-Thomas. There's a lot of things that go into this, administratively, for the support, Bison Nation, the financial things that impact our program. Like, it takes everybody to have success to get on board, and you have a choice. You can complain about something, or you can get on board more than ever now and support things. And we got a lot of people supporting us, and our guys, at the end of the day, they deserve the credit. They're going out and making it happen. But there's a lot of things that I don't think 18 to 23-year-olds understand, and that's okay. That's not for them to understand, but for people to understand from me, just the impact from a lot of people means everything to me.
Well, you said it last night in the post-game press conference that at this day and age, your team is built or excited about winning. They want to win, and that's not in college basketball in 20, or now we're almost 2026. That's not the norm anymore, is it?
No, I think the exact phrase I used was, we got guys that are prioritizing winning.
Yeah.
And I bang the table, and I ask guys that are only here for 9 months maybe to buy into that, right? And they some of these guys, it's their last run in college basketball. Some of these guys, they think they need to do this, so then the market value in the spring is higher. And again, the reality is our program has been attractive to a lot of people, like a Grant Nelson or a Jackson Money or Tyson Ward, because they've won. They understand winning. And the really cool part right now is we have great validation. And I said it, like, Travion Carson goes for records against Drake. So does Andy Stefanowicz. So does Damari Wheeler-Thomas. Yeah, and we won the game, right? And that's what comes first, the chicken or the egg. And I really believe that having that winning attitude will take care of your individual successes as well.
Tell me how personal it was for Travion Carson to have that kind of game he had on Saturday.
Yeah, goosebumps, right? Like, Travion is just boom. Like, I think it's his greatest strength. He's right here. He's just rock solid. He doesn't give you a whole bunch. But I saw just, maybe I didn't even see it from him. I saw it from his family as we were coming off the court on Saturday afternoon. Really cool experience. And those things can go a lot of ways. And the very first possession, Stragey went to him for an action and he turned it over. I'm like, oh no, here we go. He's going to be all up in the, and then boom. I mean, he was absolutely outstanding on both ends of the floor.
To have that kind of performance, what did that do? Not necessarily inspire, but did everybody play off of that, seeing what he was doing?
Yeah, and again, like, I'm not trying to deflect from one guy or another, and the numbers, that 29 and 7 or whatever he had, and the efficiency that he went about it. But I think a lot we're playing, and I mentioned this, in the press conference last night, like, we're playing off of Damari.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's and in that game he had 9 assists. In some games he scored 20. Other games he's making 14 free throws. Those are quantifiable box score things that you can see. But we're playing. I was having a conversation with Todd Phelps the other day. It's like it's a fearless group. Okay, like, it's a group that's not intimidated by an opponent or an environment, and that's because Damari walks in there and goes, "All right, fellas, let's go." Right? Like, we're going to compete. We're going to have a competitive spirit. I don't know if we're going to win, but I tell you what, we're going to fight. We're going to swing, and we're not going to back down. We're not going to flinch. And when I visit with some guys, they will flat out tell me, like, they are feeding off of his confidence that they give him.
How much is that just from him being fully healthy? I know I asked you and I asked him about this last night, that he was darn good even on one leg in the first 2 years he was playing. Now that he's 100%, is this even maybe not beyond what you thought, but this is, hey, the kind of player he could be?
Yeah, again, I think we're talking about two different things, though. Like, the leg is helping him play. The healthy leg, knocking on wood, in the healthy situation that he's in, is helping him play better. But this servant leader, this competitive spirit, this is no different than I've witnessed, in 5 years of recruiting the young man up until today. That's just who he is. Is he perfect? No, he's not. But is he what I want to be reflected in my program? And I will say that, like, absolutely. And I don't care if you're a recruit, current player, like, he's what I want to be about. Like, his work ethic in the dark, his mentality to compete every single day, whether it's a practice, whether it's a game. Like, there's a reason that he's having success. There's a reason why we're having success. And everybody wants to talk about this, that, and the other. Well, show up, be consistent, have a great attitude, bring forth a great effort, trust the process. Like, there's a unique relationship with Damari and Jason Miller. Okay, I got a great story for you. So Damari only ate chicken wings before he came here, only, and that's part of the reason why he had bad bone health, right? And so now you got to tell somebody that you got to change some habits, okay? And they're looking at you like, no, this is what I like to do. I've been pretty good this far. So the very first meal, this is dynamic. The very first meal he ever eats at NDSU, Jason makes him take meal pics. And he says, hey, Damari, you need more color. You need some greens. You need some vegetables on there. I'm not joking you. He gets up, he goes over to the salad bar and grabs one piece of lettuce, Dom. One. Okay? This is before he'd ever played as a freshman. Oh, man. Right? And now you got somebody that, eats chicken and rice, he eats vegetables, he does all those things, and it's all the little things that like help him be healthy, help his bones be healthier so he can go out and be this person on the court and serve us.
Now, see, that's what Dinger's paying for. That kind of stuff, man. That's good.
Well, it better be good. Dinger better appreciate that.
Let's break. We'll come back. We'll talk about where the Bison are heading this weekend, down to El Paso in the Sun Bowl Invitational. We'll chat about that on the other side of the break. Much more with Dave Richman, NDSU men's basketball coach. We'll roll on to the second hour of Hot Mic right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Last few minutes here with the men's basketball coach, which will be scintillating as always whenever I talk scheduling, all that kind of good stuff. What else going on? I mean, have you done your Christmas shopping yet, or do you hire that out? Do you have somebody do that for you?
Oh, gosh. No, I'm not like you. I don't have this guy just following me, driving me around.
Yeah, like me.
Fly Air Force One all everywhere. And no, I do need to do some Christmas shopping. I don't need to. I will say this: I don't need to shop for my wife because she does a good job of shopping for herself.
Jeez. So you're heading down the road here. You got a trip down to Texas. For people that don't know, how do you get invited to something like this, the Sun Bowl Invitational? Is this something you volunteer for? They call you? For people that don't know, how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, there's message boards out there for scheduling. There's different things that, create different things. And, scheduling, obviously you and I have talked it on a myriad of different platforms. There's things that we need to check boxes with. There's some financial things that we need to hit. There's some dates that need to be hit. The one thing that has been nice this year, like the Arkansas State is 2 games in 3 days in one spot. El Paso, you're going to play back-to-back. We played back-to-back, this year, with 2 home games. And so when you do those things, it kind of shrinks your window and gives you some margins for practice and prep too on the other end. And the Sun Bowl event is just, I can't speak highly enough of it. And I know, El Paso, Texas isn't a destination for most people's bucket list, but those people down there, Barry, they do a tremendous job of giving you a great experience off the court and then 2 challenging games on the court. And so it worked out. It worked out date-wise. There's some financial benefits to us. Plus, I'm a creature of habit a little bit. I know it's been a good experience. I know it's going to make our group better. I know we're going to be taken care of, when they're down there. So we're going to maximize these next 2 days in particular for our guys to get away finals week. I'm going to head on the road, get a chance to watch Max Iverson play tonight. Cool. Amir Danforth play on Wednesday night. And then we'll get back at it and settle into our routine and, get better. You got to, some Bison opportunities to get better, obviously preparing for Irvine. And then that Monday opponent will be determined by what happens in that other game on Sunday.
I know for basketball fans, Irvine's a recognizable name. They won 32 games, I think. They were the runner-up in the NIT. I know in this era, nothing carries over, but they were big and they were good. Is that anticipated what you're going to see Sunday night?
Well, I disagree a little bit. Like, things do carry over. Same coach there, the same culture. And so from that standpoint, like they're a good team, and they're a good team again this year. And I hope people would say a little bit about the Bison too. As much as there's things turning over, there's still some things in place that are carrying over pretty consistently year in and year out. And so we know, but this is what this group needs. We need another formidable challenge. Like we got, last week, Thursday, Saturday, And I know Sunday, Irvine is going to really test us.
They feed you well down there, I'm assuming? It's Texas, so you got to imagine they
Tex-Mex?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but Tex-Mex, and I don't want to get too detailed here, but Tex-Mex on the day of the game, and my stomach's all over the place. I don't know if that's good for anybody.
Well, you're walking it off, man, because you never – I mean, how often do you actually sit during a game? Like if you're
I try. I tell myself that I'm going to sit, and then I don't sit very long.
Because let me ask you this. If
you know what you should really do is, well, we shouldn't do it. But we should put a camera on me in the back hallway before the game. Like, there is a lot going on with Dave Richman in that hour before the game.
So, like, if you're sitting, does that mean things are not going well?
Could be going that they're great. A lot of times I'm sitting, like, just, yelling and screaming in Josh Jones's ear because I'm mad at one of the guys, and I need him to articulate my frustration. It's better that he does it than I do it. I really like, that's the beauty of me when I'm sitting. I don't know what I'm doing.
We have a couple emails. You want to take a couple emails from viewers here today?
I would love it.
All right.
So you want to talk about the eat sign?
Well, no, this is actually wardrobe wise. They're wondering when a college basketball coach is going to go back to wearing suits. Come on. When is that happening?
I'm open to it. Like I don't have your wardrobe deal.
Oh,
like,
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I'm not as big time as you. But I know this Tim Halberstad does a good job of taking care of me. But it is the quarter zips are nice and relaxed.
It's never coming back. Just say it, right? You guys are entrenched now. It's not going back.
Probably not.
Probably not. Another email comes in. I don't know if you're a busy man. Dom, can you ask Dave if he saw what Joel Klatt said yesterday about the NCAA basketball tournament? Did you see this or no?
I did not.
So Joel Klatt is a college football analyst for Fox. He was talking about the NCAA basketball tournament. He says, we don't want Cinderellas. We want the best teams playing each other at the end. The NCAA basketball tournament is a joke. It's the dumbest tournament and the least fair tournament in all of sports. What do you make of that?
Opinions are like, you know what? And I have my opinion, and I would say millions of viewers that are creating billions of dollars
Correct,
based on the
Mundo.
tournament have their views too. So go ahead, Joe Klatt, and do what you need to do to get your clicks and get us talking about it.
I don't get that at all. At all.
I've heard some different things, where more people are likely to watch a 7-10 game than a 16-1 game until it's tight and whatever. But I think that all goes back to I completely disagree with the Cinderella thing.
Yep.
Because that to me is the storyline, especially down the stretch, and you get into the third weekend with those things. And so I'll go back to what I said. Opinions are like, you know what, everybody's got them.
And I'll say, I have talked about this with the big boys that, they've threatened constantly about doing their own thing. They'll never do that because it's the whole appeal of March is when you guys go and play and scare the heck out of Gonzaga in 2015 or beat Oklahoma or St. Peter's run. That's what makes March what it's been. There's no way they'd ever mess with that. And I can't imagine they would.
That is my biggest concern.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we talk scheduling is my biggest challenge. My biggest concern is like we have a lot of things going on. And like the last 4 or 5 years, my dad reminds me of about every day, like, what are you doing? Coaching is hard enough. And then the changing environment, the changing landscape, like, and I've said, non-conference this, regular season Summit League this, but that opportunity in March to play for that tournament, like at our level right now, it's everything. And if you were to take that away and not have some kind of platform to reach that, to achieve those things, man, that would challenge me to think about what I'm doing at this level.
No doubt. Good stuff there, man. Have a great time in Texas. Safe travels. Appreciate it. We'll talk next week, okay?
Not that our viewers care. I don't know. Tuesday we're traveling back.
So that's not going
to
happen?
Have to find another spot for Derek Dinger.
We'll make something work.
He's going to be crushed.
He will be crushed. Yes, the 17 people that love watching this segment will be crushed this here as well. So we'll talk later, all right? Thanks for the time, and congrats on the win last night.
Appreciate you.
There he
Have a good
goes.
one.
Dave Richman joining us, NDSU men's basketball head coach. North Dakota State 10-3 on the year. They will take on UC Irvine Sunday night, and then they have a game Monday either against Norfolk State or UTEP down in El Paso. And as he mentioned, apparently he's blowing us off for Tuesday, so we'll figure something out for next week to see how they're doing. We'll break. When we come back, we'll keep the basketball theme going. Guy was at the game last night. He's got a game tonight. Kyle Cummings will join us from Horace. The Hawks have a biggie in the EDC tonight with their rivals down the road. That's coming up when we return on Hot Mic after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Again, we got high school hoops coming up tonight right here on WDAY Extra. You can check it out. West Fargo Cheyenne, West Fargo Horace boys basketball. What a way to start the EDC season with two teams that figure they're going to be playing basketball into mid-March. It's great to have Horace boys basketball coach Kyle Cummings join us. He was at the Bison game last night, checking out one of his former players. Zach Westfall plays for Minnesota Crookston. It's great to see you. First off, you're a great basketball mind. What do we make of David's team? They any good this year or what?
I mean, what are they? 11 of their last 12 now?
10 of 11, yeah. 10 of 11, yep.
I mean, or 10 of 11. So heck of a run. I mean, he's got them playing the right way right now, and he's a guy that I admire too. And so he's definitely got them heading the right direction. If this is where they peak, then maybe I spoke too soon. No, I'm just kidding. Don't tell him I said that.
It's great to see you. You've played a couple games. We were just talking off air that you played twice, then you've had the last 10 days off, so which is so uncommon in boys basketball. What have you guys been doing for the last week and a half?
Practicing? No. We are trying to be pretty smart with this time. You know, we've lifted, we've taken care of our bodies, and we've made sure everybody stayed healthy and everything. And we've had some guys that were battling some sickness. It kind of came at the right time, if I'm being honest. We had some guys miss some school just because they were sick. And so that worked out just for everybody to stay healthy and get healthy if they needed to. But yeah, we played for 2 days, and then we had 10 days to fix everything. We solved all the world's problems, hopefully, with that time.
The obvious question about your basketball team, and you're going to hear it until basically you get to next March, is what happened at the end of last year. How much do you address that with the guys? Does it go unspoken, Kyle?
You know, we kind of that's a line that needs to be walked, just because yes, we bring it up, and you know, it's also something that we have to turn the page and kind of make the next play also. Where did the season end how we wanted it to? No. And that's definitely been a big motivating factor for us, just this off season and in the summer and heading into the season now. And, you know, now that the season has started, we can really just draw from these last couple games and the things that we're doing well versus look at all the negative things that happened last year. And, you know, it's a new year, it's a new team. And that's the thing is, a lot of these guys were on that team, and so hopefully that serves as some experience that they can learn from too.
I know you were mentioning to me about Carter Evanson, I want to say about 3 years ago, like, hey, we got a guy. He might be really, really good. Obviously had a big summer. He committed to go play at UND. How have you seen him handle now, even more eyeballs on him, even more attention that's going to be on him this season?
You know, just the first 2 games, I'll talk about that. We'll kind of see something different tonight and maybe next week, I'm sure too. But you know, he came out that first game against Minot and he had 42, and that was something, even though he was getting everybody's best player and some double teams, he still managed to find open teammates, but pick and choose his moments in that game. And then we had Dickinson the next day, and they threw the kitchen sink at him, and he didn't have as big of a game. He had 25, which is still, I mean, if you ask any high school kid, that's still a really good game. And the thing is, with that Dickinson game, he played a different role where, you know, they weren't going to let him get loose. And we've got another guard by the name of Aiden Green. He's a standout football player, and he's starting to make a name for himself as a basketball player too. But Aiden really closed that game for us because of the role that Carter played, where we ran the same play the last 4 minutes of the game, and Carter was kind of a screener there, which got Aiden open to the rim, got him an open 3, and then we eventually hit a game winner because Carter was playing that role of being a screener and being selfless for the team. And so that's kind of what we're hoping moving forward, is that he's going to have some big games, but he might have some smaller ones too, getting other guys open.
You know, I was visiting with Harvey McMahon, your colleague who's the football coach there, of just knowing you're not sneaking up at anybody anymore. And I know that's the case as well. How does that change even from like a couple years ago to what certainly you're going to have tonight?
You know, we have those polls every week that come out, and they're pretty cool for the first time where you're like, oh, hey, we cracked the top 5, or hey, now we're up to number 3. But now I think that we've been at number 2 for the last couple of weeks, and I don't want to be number 2. I'd rather be number 6 or 7 so that we can sneak up on guys like you said. But no, I think, you know, we've got some high expectations from around the community. We've got some high expectations for ourselves. And as a coach, I think I have the highest expectations for our guys. And that's just kind of the thing, is we wear it and we've got to embrace it too.
Knowing it's Cheyenne, you know Tim's team, what do you expect out of this game tonight?
They're going to defend. You know, they just watching film on them, they've got some of the best help side defense, I'd say, on this side of the state. I'd say number 1 is always Sentry with Darren Madden, but Tim definitely has guys defending at a high level. They've got some length. They've got a couple of big names too. The Keller kid, he's really good. I get to see him play a lot this summers too, just through AAU. But, you know, I've watched them play 4 times now, and I think their record is 1-3, but they're not going to throw in the towel or anything. They're going to come out with a game plan. They're going to probably show something different tonight that we haven't seen yet now that it's conference play.
The atmospheric games, describe that being you'd seen that also from the ground up, first on the girls' side, now on the boys' side, of how that's changed of playing at home and developing a home court advantage.
Oh, yeah. That's, you know, Dom, this is my 3rd year with the boys. And so my first year with the boys, we did not win a home game. We went 5-19, and we did not win a home game that year. And then the year prior, before I was the head coach on the boys, they won 1 home game. And then last year we flipped it and we didn't lose a home game. And I think that is definitely part of the home court advantage, just because of, you know, it helps having one side of the bleachers right now. You can kind of see in my background, we don't have that backside yet, but it just is packed. And tonight it's going to be standing room only just because it's the crosstown rivalry. But it is an awesome atmosphere just with that one side of the bleachers, I will say, helps right now.
You've scheduled some Minnesota teams. You're going to play the Spuds this weekend, and you're going to go and play a couple teams out of the Twin Cities. I know from your AAU experience, how big a deal is that, and kind of challenging your team before you get in the teeth of EDC play once the calendar flips to 2026?
You know, I'm not trying to look too far ahead or anything like that, but if you watch college basketball, these guys, they talk about getting ready for March Madness and stuff, and they want to build their resume, and they want to, you know, they want to be battle tested. And that was kind of my idea for these games, where we talked off air a little bit about how the season ended last year and playing at the Shack, playing on a college court. This year, I think that we will be the team that plays the most on college courts heading into EDC play. And that's kind of why we scheduled it that way, just because, so playing Moorhead, who's a really good team, on the Concordia floor, we're doing that. There's a purpose behind it. We're trying to get ready to play on a college court later this year. And then when we go down and we play Orono and we're going to play Champlain Park, we're going to play them at St. Cloud, the college, SCSU. We're going to play them or play on that floor twice. And so there's going to be 3 games. And then last week we practiced at MSUM just to get on the college floor a little bit more. But it's just more so the psychological part of, you know, telling our guys, like, now we've shot at gyms without a backdrop, and we've played at places like this before, and we're trying to become more battle tested and battle ready once it really matters by the end of the year.
How much do you think that can really be a factor helping you guys out when you get to March?
You know, as much as I talk about it, I'm not the one that has to play in the game, but if I can help those guys believe in themselves, if I can say, this is what I believe in, you guys got to believe in me, I think that's what's really going to help out come March.
Seeing now how the EDC coaching landscape has changed. Obviously, Hendrickson has done it south. Travis is no longer coaching at Fargo North. You described that you're moving up the leaderboard here in seniority, and you said you're only been doing this a little bit at Horace.
Yeah, and now, I mean, I got a text message from Adam Palczewski. He's like, hey, are you the league commissioner? And yes, I am. That's the thing, is nobody else wants to do it, so I guess I can be for the boys' side. But no, I actually tried to get both those guys to come on staff, those guys you mentioned, between Trav and Mike. Just You say there's some seniority, but I'm only 31, Dom. I've been coaching for what feels like 5 minutes, and so I still need some guidance and still need some help. And I brought on Mike Benson this year, and so he's one of my assistants now. And so just having another guy that's been a head coach has been really helpful. But no, in the East, we definitely have, between Kirby and Tim and Adam, like, we have a pretty tight knit group, and I'd say that we all can get along off the court. And I root for those guys. Unless they're playing me.
I was going to say we can root for of Manson too, because he's still hanging around here. He's the old man at Davies these days. I'm interested. You had Coach Winchesky from Minot come in to talk to the guys. What was the purpose of that, and what kind of message did he deliver to your team?
So right now, we usually do it on Wednesdays. We've been doing some fundraising, some housekeeping stuff at the beginning of the season, but every Wednesday we try to have a guest speaker, and so we do kind of a rotation where we are 30 minutes in the weight room, on the court, and then we're in the classroom. And we had Coach Winchesky come and speak this last weekend just because he was in town watching his son play for Minot. Yeah. And so that's kind of why we snagged him on the weekend. But it's been a college coach. It's been somebody else in the community. But we've had Coach Richman came last year. Coach Collins, he came, and that was kind of a unique one because his son Jet is on our team. But this Wednesday, we actually have Jason Kemp from MSUM is slotted to come in. But, they all kind of have – basketball has done so much for me. And so I've having these other guys in the community come in and just kind of explain what basketball has done for them. And if there's a message, they always have their own little talking points, of course, where, you've talked to Dave a lot, and he talks about being tough and being together. And so they all have a really good lesson. And so it's – kind of hearing maybe a different thing or even the same thing, but just from a different voice, I think is really important for these guys too.
I mentioned you were at the Shack last night. What was that experience like? See Zach get out there and play last night too.
Zach is actually the older brother, but Brady.
Sorry, yeah. Yep.
Yes. No, it's awesome. He went in, he got a couple shots up. Unfortunately, didn't hit any shots, but I talked to his parents afterwards and talked with him, and they made the comments, man, we just don't shoot well in this place. And so I'm hoping that when they come back that he gets it going a little bit more. But no, I think that's an awesome thing for him. He landed at Crookston, and his older brother Zach went there too. Yep. And, I think that that's going to be an awesome fit for him just in the long term too, and getting his degree, but really proud of him and what he's done. And so it was, we brought the whole team last night, and that was awesome. We all went a little crazy when he entered the game. So that was great.
I heard that. To have now you haven't been doing this long and have a little pipeline started. How big a deal is that? You're sending guys to play college basketball out of a short time that you guys have been a varsity program.
So Brady is the second one. That's only our second senior class. Then Carter, of course, coming up. It's awesome because I feel that our program is starting to get guys ready. We're starting to produce, produce some kind of college talent, which is really fun, really exciting for the area. My favorite part, honestly, is when talking with Brady last night, when he gives a little comment like, yeah, you were right. It's kind of now he's hearing it and he's seeing it at a different level. And that's the nice part is that, yeah, coach was right about this or coach was right about that too, which is really kind of patting myself.
I was going to say, you enjoy that, right? You don't exactly. Get to hear that too often, correct?
No, not at the moment.
I appreciate the time on a game day, man. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck tonight. We'll talk to you in 2026, okay?
Yes, anytime. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it.
Have a great holiday, bud. There he goes. Kyle Cummings joining us. Horace boys basketball head coach. Hawks and the Mustangs coming up tonight. You'll see it right here on WDAY Extra and on WDAY Plus as well. Carter Evanson is worth your time. Aiden Green's awfully good player as well. Those are two of the big guys to watch on the Horace side. And Tim Brandt's team always plays hard, and we'll see. I'm interested to see what the top four end up being when we get to the middle of March. The AA tournament is back in Bismarck this year of what the mix. Davies will be there because they always are. Bart's team always finds a way to make it there. Horace, you have to figure, they've not been on the boys' side. The Horace boys have not been to state. You have to figure this is the team with the kind of players they have. Cheyenne's going to be there. Red River's got some dudes. West Fargo, Paul Chesky's team always plays tough as well and makes a run. Those probably, after that, there's probably a little drop after those five teams for 4 spots that have a chance to make it to state this year. And we'll be keeping our eyes on that as it really gets going here. After we get back from the holiday, that's when really the run for about 6 weeks to tournament time gets going. Good stuff there. We appreciate him giving us a few minutes. All right, we'll take our final break. We come back. Got a few emails to catch up on. And we'll get you ready. We got a busy Sports Tuesday planned tonight. That's coming up when we wrap up Hot Mic after this. All right, wrapping things up here on a Tuesday morning. Mentioned earlier, if you missed it, the Big Sky Commissioner, Tom Wistrcill, will join us on the show on Thursday. Looking forward to our conversation there, getting ready for Brawl the Wild Part 2. Going back to that, we were talking on the ticket situation earlier in the show, which seems like it's going to be a gong show. Maybe it already is on that. For other Montana sporting events, email comes in. The match between Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady versus Bryson DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers was in Big Sky. That was in July of 2021. Aired on TNT. The football game is bigger, though. Nothing matches this. Have to think so. Just with the fan bases between the two. And I've had the good fortune of being in each of those stadiums a couple of times. Heck, it was 2 years ago today. We were in Missoula for the Bison Montana game that went double overtime that Montana won. Being on the field when that game ended and just the roar that Montana had won and was going to Frisco that year, and they lost to South Dakota State. But just Montana hadn't played in a championship game since 2009? Question mark? I think so. I mean, they had been to the semis once before, and they lost to Sam Houston in 2011. Now they had beaten the Bison to get there. That was amazing. And obviously the trips to Bozeman, I've not heard any celebration because the Bison have won out there, but the amount of intensity, it just will be great. I mean, that is deserving of that time slot and that window. Frankly, it'd be kind of cool at night, but that will be, and granted, we'll finish at night, but the atmosphere there on Saturday afternoon in Bozeman will be something to behold. That'll be pretty darn cool. Let's get a couple other in. Dom, you say you're not panicking when it comes to NDSU football and the transfer portal, but you kind of sound like you are. Just saying. I'm simply pointing out. Now, go back to a comment I made yesterday when we were talking about South Dakota State's departures last year in relation to what NDSU may face this year. I'm pointing out a fact here. Now, was I wrong on the Jacks? Maybe. I could say that maybe that they didn't have the kind of depth that I thought they had in their program. That might be where I can backtrack on that, what I said last year that's played out. I think they had some high-end guys, but after that, they didn't have the kind of depth I thought they had. And I think Dan Jackson found that out as well. Here, tell me who leaves, and I can tell you what they have backing that up. There are certain spots I think they feel pretty good about. There are others, if they lose some guys, that's going to be tough to replace. And that's, I think, just a matter of fact. So I don't think I'm panicking. I'm just telling you exactly what the current situation is and regarding with the football team there. We'll see. Again, there's a long way to go between the time we're here and the time we're done. On bowls, Dom, I can recall the day when there was just a few bowl games. Most had some good matchups. In the early 70s, I remember the Sun Bowl would start off with a good matchup, and then the traditional bowls around the new year. I think that in those days, the bowls actually meant something opposed to the minor bowls today. Yes, the bowls involved the CFP mean a lot, but that is about all that do. I think now, yeah, they're exhibition games. And again, I'll say it, we mentioned in the first hour, it's filler TV programming. And until people stop watching them, they're not going anywhere. It's just a matter of, when you get 6 million people to watch like the Pop-Tarts Bowl or the Cheez-It Bowl or the Mayo Bowl, they're not going anywhere. They're just not. Like tonight's game we're going to feature in What to Watch in a second. Let's mark it down. I bet you 2.5 million people watch this football game tonight. Because it's football on a Tuesday. People like watching breaking news. People like watching football. And I don't care. They can disparage it all they want. If they see it on, the clicker is going to stop. It's just a matter of fact. It's just who we are right now. And no matter what I show you on What to Watch, it's going to stop on football. Speaking of what, let's do some What to Watch before we get out of here. Now, I say that there are other options. You have tablets and phone. You can do whatever. So you can stream on your tablet or your phone the basketball game tonight in West Fargo between Cheyenne and Horace on WDAY Extra as the EDC gets rolling there. You can put on your TV or your phone the Capitals and the Wild on FanDuel Sports North to get to see the newest edition of the Minnesota Wild. Quinn Hughes playing 7 o'clock tonight. The NBA Cup Championship in Vegas, the Spurs and the Knicks on Amazon Prime, and our first real bowl game tonight. Troy and Jacksonville State gets it started 8 o'clock on ESPN. Our thanks to Kyle Cummings, to Dave Richman, and, of course, to Mike McFeely. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.